Hello class, this is Dr. Guzhen Zhou. In the last session, we learned there are two time frames for firms, the short run and the long run. Then in this session, we'll study about the firm's cost in the short run. Produce more outputs in the short run, the firm must employ more labor, which means that it must increase its costs. There are three types of cost concepts similarly to the three productions in our last session: the total cost, marginal cost, and the average cost. A firm's total cost, TC, is the cost of all resources used. Total fixed cost, TFC, is the cost of the firm's fixed inputs. Fixed costs do not change with output. Total variable cost, TVC, is the cost of the firm's variable inputs. Variable costs do change with outputs. Total cost equals total fixed cost plus total variable cost. The figure shows all three costs. Marginal cost, MC, is the increase in the total cost that results from 1 unit's increase in total product over the output range with increasing marginal returns. Marginal cost falls as output increases. Over the output range with diminishing marginal returns, marginal cost rises as outputs increase. Average cost measures can be derived from each of the total cost measures. Average fixed cost, AFC, is the total fixed cost per unit of output. Average variable cost, AVC, is total variable cost per unit of output. Average total cost, ATC, is the total cost per unit of output. The figure shows the MC, AFC, The figure shows the marginal cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, and average total cost curve. The AFC curve shows that average fixed cost falls as output increases. The AVC curve is U-shaped. As output increases, average variable cost falls to a minimum and then increases. The MC is very special. For outputs over which AVC is falling, MC is below AVC. For outputs over which AVC is rising, MC is above AVC. For the output at minimum AVC, MC equals AVC. Similarly, for the outputs over which average total cost is falling, marginal cost is below average total cost. For the outputs over which average total cost is rising, marginal cost is above average total curve. For the output at minimum average total cost, marginal cost equals average total cost. The AVC curve is U-shaped because initially MP exceeds. The AVC curve is U-shaped because initially marginal product exceeds average product, which brings rising average product and the falling average variable cost. Eventually, marginal product falls below average product, which brings falling average product and rising average variable cost. The ATC curve is also U-shaped for the same reasons. In addition, average total cost falls at low output levels because average fixed cost is falling quickly. Why average total cost curve is also U-shaped? The ATC curve is the vertical sum of the AFC curve and the AVC curve. The U-shaped of the ATC curve arrives from the inference of two opposing forces. Spreading total fixed cost over large amounts average fixed cost curve slopes downward as the output increases. Eventually, diminishing returns, the average variable cost curve slopes upward, and average variable costs increase more quickly than AFC is decreasing. The shapes of a firm's cost curves are determined by the technical it uses. We'll look at first at the link between total cost and the total product, and then at the link between the average and the marginal product in the cost curves. The figure shows when output is plotted against the labor, the curve is the total production curve. When output is plotted against variable cost, the curve is total variable cost curve, but it is flipped over. The firm's cost curves are linked to its product's curves. Marginal cost is at its minimum at the same output level at which marginal production is at its maximum. When marginal product is rising, marginal cost is falling. Average variable cost is at minimum at the same output level at which average production is at its maximum. When average product is rising, average variable cost is falling. The figure shows these relationships. Now, let's consider how will cost curve shift. Well, the position of a firm's cost curve depends on two factors: technology, the price of inputs. Technological change influences both the product curves and the cost curves. An increase in productivity shifts the product curves outward and the cost curve downward. If a technical advance results in the firm using more capital and less labor, fixed costs increase and the variable costs decrease. In this case, average total cost increases at low output levels and decreases at high output levels. Another, an increase in the price of a factor of production increases costs and shifts the cost curves. An increase in the fixed cost shifts the total cost and the average total cost curves upward, but does not shift the marginal cost curve. An increase in the variable cost shifts the total cost, average total cost, and the marginal cost curve upward. Alright, let's stop here and thank you very much for your listening. Bye.